Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the very first episode of the Hit to Start Play podcast. Podcast where we talk about video games and the video game industry and everything in between. My name is Jack, or I go by the online name Falsey. I'm not really too fussed what you call me. And I'm with my co-host. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you happen to be on this planet. I hope everyone is staying safe within the current circumstances. My name is Ben, or Neb, or Luxury, whatever you want to call me. I do not care. So today, this is for the first ever episode of this hopefully long-running podcast. We think we're just going to introduce ourselves, talk about what kind of games we like, our favourite games, and also what kind of games we don't like. So
that list is huge, my friend.
Oh God, honestly.
I think that's bigger than my actual list I like, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I'm a harsh critic, so I have about 6 games I like, and the rest of them are just going to get slaughtered. So stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's talk about some video games. So firstly, I think we are going to compile a list of our 5 favourite games each, just to give you an idea of who we are, what we like. So I'll let you begin. Why not?
Okay, right. So, I'm a bit weird when it comes to video games. Like, I seem to like all the ones that no one likes, and dislike all the ones. Leave Watch Dogs out of this. And I dislike every video game that everyone likes. I don't know. So, top 5. Now, these are in no particular order. If I remember correctly, I used to write like a blog.
Yeah, I remember that.
I did top 5 games that I liked at the time, and it has changed a lot. I sort of thought about it a bit more. You'll notice a little bit of a trend as well. But again, these aren't in order, so we'll go with the number 1. Well, actually, I say they're not in order. This is my number 1 favorite game, and I think you can answer this for me.
Probably RuneScape.
Okay, you failed. But RuneScape is on there. RuneScape, for those that don't know, one of the biggest MMORPGs ever to be created. It's it's one of those games that you just sort of you as soon as you start playing, when you get to grips with it, it's one of those things you can't quit properly. Like, you'll constantly go back to it, and that is what keeps the player base. I think it's peaked recently at like 150,000 people concurrent for a game that's 20 odd years old. I think that's quite good.
Fun fact: I've actually never played RuneScape in my life.
See, that surprises me, to be honest.
Same with like World of Warcraft. I've never MMOs for me. Just I don't know what it is. Can't do it.
Yeah, I think it definitely takes a certain kind of person. Because I mean, to put things into perspective. So you get your skills on RuneScape from 1 to 99. Some skills take thousands and thousands of hours for just one skill, and it's 23. I think. So it's sort of one of those things that, it's difficult to get into, but once you're there, then you've lost about 20 years of your life. So there's that. Moving on, we've got Simpsons Hit and Run. I think everyone can sort of agree that game is... it's just one of those games
classic.
Everyone loves. Yeah,
it's absolutely classic. It's not the best game, but it's just absolutely fun. It's pure just chaos and fun.
Because you've recently gone back and played it, right?
I got my partner has a PS2, so during the first lockdown, I borrowed it, and one of the games she had was Simpsons Hit and Run, and I would just spend every morning just sitting there playing it, and it was. The game is awful, but it is such a fun experience.
Would you agree that I don't think I ever remember it as a kid, but the steering on the cars was absolutely abysmal going back into it.
The controls in the whole game are bad. It's like controlling your character is like what I'd imagine trying to... If The Sims was a third-person game...
Oh, God.
It's what I imagine trying to...
first-person game. Sims is a third-person game.
No, Sims is like top-down, isn't it? It's like third-person as in, like... behind the character, but it's what I imagine the control. The controls are awful, and it is the glitchiest thing I've ever played in my life, other than half the Ubisoft games ever released.
I had it on PC for a long time, and the controls just don't port over.
Oh god, it's like playing Bully on PC with a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, a lot of the buttons don't even work properly.
It's like WASD to move, and then if you want to sprint, you got to press like end. And it's like,
it's awful. You got to have the longest fingers known to man to reach one side of the
You have to be a squid just to press all the buttons to move. It just doesn't happen.
Oh, it's atrocious. So yeah, there's that. We've got one that I think we both have very fond memories of, and that's Black Ops 1.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think that was a game. Wow, how old were we? God, I was about 10, 11, 12. I don't know. Very young.
Must have been.
It was a long time ago. Released, I believe, 2000. Modern Warfare 2, I think, was 2009. 2009, 2010. I think it's 2010. So Black Ops would have been about 2011.
Yeah, so 2011 pushing 2012.
Almost 9 years ago. 10 years ago. And we would always have like just full squads.
Oh, yeah, search and destroy lobbies.
Yeah.
Oh, not the LRX
clan that had like many members that we just didn't know who half of them were. Shout out to Rat Boy.
Oh my lord. Yeah.
And Pavey.
Oh god.
Some of the old guys we used to play with in Black Ops 1. For me, I think Modern Warfare 2 is better than Black Ops 1, personally, but I think in terms of the memories, I think Black Ops has to top it.
Yeah, I agree, because I mean, I got into COD quite late. I didn't have an Xbox at the time, or the Xbox 360, should I say. So I got into, I think the first game I actually played was COD 4, but I played that late. And then the first new COD I played was Black Ops 1. And that, I mean, I was going to say that was when I was a sweaty nerd. I'm still a sweaty nerd. I'm just older. So I remember getting to like 15th prestige within like, I don't know, it didn't take long. I remember me and you sat there on a double XP weekend on Midtown with MG60s looking down the map on demolition.
Just lying.
We prestiged like 3 times in a weekend.
It was like, it was also, I remember I was like 14th prestige on the multiplayer. But I was also like 5th on combat training because I always did the glitch.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So if you add them together, I was like 20th.
I also made you prestige, didn't I?
Oh, I never played the game again after that. I had like half the guns gold in the game, and then I kept like there was a chicken noise every time you press no. On the
chicken noise was Modern Warfare 3.
Oh no.
That was what you did by accident.
I literally uninstalled. I was just thinking Connor wanted to hear. Like Connor
is my brother.
Connor is Jack's brother for context. Otherwise, like, who's that?
Who's Connor?
But I was just messing around. He wanted to hear the chicken noise, so I was like, all right. I kept doing it, and I accidentally did it too quick. And the next thing I know, I've lost everything. there were a few tears, broke the controller.
I remember getting a text.
I was upset.
It was just, right, never play Modern Warfare 3 again. I was like, wait, why? And he was like, I prestiged by accident. I was like, oh.
I was upset. There were several tears, broken controllers, and uninstalled games that day.
Okay, well, we could go on about Black Ops 1 for the entire podcast. But,
that's probably its own episode, I reckon, for that.
100%. So the next I've got Final Fantasy Zodiac Age, because I've written Zodiac Age because I cannot remember what number it is for the life of me. I just know that the remaster or whatever was Zodiac Age, but I cannot remember what number it is.
Would not have a clue.
I think it's 12. It's either 11 or 12, one of the two. For me, it's not the game itself; it's the memories behind it. Back before I had like Xbox 360, we'd just have a PS2 and me and my brother shared it. So I remember we would take turns like playing it. And it would always be like an argument over the controller and be like, I'm doing this bit, I'm doing this bit, whatever. But those were some of the happier times of my life. Like, you know, we had music blaring and it was like 30 Seconds to Mars, like edgy emo music, right?
Yeah.
While we're playing this single player PS2 game with
no worries.
It's just
sitting
The only
there.
thing I had to worry about was going to school on a Monday.
Yeah, it's like, what am I eating for dinner? That's the only
Yeah.
worry we had.
Legit. That game was fantastic. And the game itself is good. If you like Final Fantasy, if you like it wasn't turn-based this time. Well, it kind of was, but there was more freedom to it. You could move around while the attacks were going off, if that makes sense. That was good. I enjoyed that. And then Final is probably
Oh yeah, I know what you're gonna.
my all-time favorite game. If anyone ever asks me what my favorite game is, this is the big boy, and that is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Now, I don't even know why I love this game so much. I think for me, I think the story's fantastic. I think they did really, really well with like character developments and stuff, and not saying the characters are relatable because they weren't. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, not at all.
I'm a British white boy, and I don't think I'm very relatable to some, American gangsters. But it was so even the dialogue lines were done well. The game itself, in terms of gameplay, that the missions were some parts difficult, some parts easy. It was a good balance, I think, and I loved the game so much that I must have completed it about 1,000 times on PS2, and I even bought it on PS4 on the remaster or whatever, and platinumed it because I just think, I don't know, man. The game for me is just, it's a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned.
I think with San Andreas as well, it's not my favorite Grand Theft Auto, but I do think San Andreas has a balance with some of the best characters in the franchise. I think Big Smoke is obviously Big Smoke. He's a meme. I think Tenpenny, is the best villain in a game, and he's voiced by Samuel L. Jackson, which automatically makes it better than anything. And I think CJ is a very good protagonist. I don't think CJ.
Sorry, CJ is voiced by Franklin's cousin.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
I don't think CJ is the best protagonist. I think Nico tops him a little bit, but
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Maybe Trevor for me as well. I like Trevor a lot.
Why? Because he's a nutter.
He's just a lunatic.
Yeah,
he just absolutely just has nothing. There's no brain cells, but he's hard.
Right, is that why you relate to him then?
Just zero brain.
Anyway, I got in right. Okay, so I guess I've rambled on enough. Now it's
I actually thought about this for quite a long time, and I think I genuinely have an order of games. Number 5 is a bit replaceable, but I think I've got one. So I'll start with 2 honourable mentions I have that could have been in the list but didn't for various reasons. One, I think, yeah. Like,
just do one of them YouTube list videos, like
top 5, but there's actually 10 of them.
5 YouTubers that have sworn. Have you seen that?
No.
There's some video. Some guy made a video. It's like top 5 YouTubers that have sworn, and he's like making it like epic.
He's just making it an absolute like scandal.
How dare you say one of them swears? Right, sorry, no, go on.
But so an honourable mention, I have 2 of games that could have been here, but for reasons I'll get into aren't. And one is League of Legends.
Oh no.
A lot of our time in the past 10 years has been spent on League of Legends. It took over our life and our bank account for a good period of time.
Oh yeah.
It is a genuine good game. I haven't got a bad thing to say about the actual game. The problems arose in personal life of this game as it took over our lives.
That's because games take 40 minutes, so
yeah,
you just have to clear your entire schedule.
Yeah, you have to book a day to play the thing. So you're sitting there, you play one game, it goes horribly. All right, one more, and then that one goes well. All right, one more.
Yeah,
and then and then it just next thing you know, you spend 12 hours playing 4 games, and I think the memories again, like you said with what was it? Was it Final Fantasy and Black Ops? It's the memories behind it that make it for me.
Oh yeah.
But the reason it didn't make it on this list is because of the way I went out. Was the game made me so angry that I physically forced myself to uninstall the game. Otherwise, I would have harmed myself and my bedroom. So it had to be done. And I think it holds a place in my heart for the memories it had.
It has to.
But I think it's the reason I don't get a gaming PC again is because I know I would download it and that'd be it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And I can't trust myself that I know I'd install it. I know I would.
It'd be like 3 a.m. and we'd still be in a game, and they'd be like, "Oh,
yeah,
it's 3 a.m. Wait, what?
Oh, we got work in 4 hours time. Help.
Oh yeah, that was the worst part. Like,
it was every time without
we're fully
fail.
grown adults
sitting here playing League of Legends.
Yeah, and then
it's screaming down the mic.
Be like, hold on a second, we've got responsibilities outside this computer screen.
Literally, we all had relationships and jobs, and they all took second starts to League. And
I don't know how my missus stayed with me.
Yeah, same. And it's that is why, for me, why League doesn't make it because of that.
I agree with that.
Second honourable mention, Mario 64, because it is the game that got me into video games. As soon as I was old enough to pick anything up, it was kind of the first game I ever played. I think it's fantastic. I think it's the kind of the grandfather of 3D platformers as we have them today.
Got a mad speedrunning community right now.
Yeah, well, and it's a mega popular game that I believe, I don't even know when it came out, 95, 96.
Best year.
No, 97.
Nah,
Ocarina of Time. Easy. Best game ever made. But Mario 64, it's such a happy game. It's such a fun-filled, harmless, friendly sort of adventure. But for me, going back to it now, it's just not the same game. And
what
I know
about
it had
the remaster.
It's virtually the same thing.
Right.
It's just slightly HD. It's not like, it doesn't look like new. It still looks old, and I don't have a problem with it looking old because I like the sort of quirky, blocky sort of.
Yeah, it adds character to it.
Yeah, it's very N64, and for me, just going back to it now, it's not the same, and I don't get the same feelings that I did when I was a kid picking that up for the first time. Just absolutely, just gobsmacked by this game. And now we've obviously got Mario Odyssey and Galaxy that are both absolutely incredible games, and going back it doesn't feel the same, but it doesn't take away that the game is absolutely marvelous. But it couldn't make it in the list for that. But now getting into the actual 5. 5th was a toss-up, but I think in the end I've gone for Bloodborne. As you all learn, I am a Souls fanatic. I absolutely love the Souls franchise. I'm very sadistic in that way. I like the pain of the challenge of these games, and I think Bloodborne, is the best Souls game ever made. Doesn't mean it's my favourite, as I'll get to, but I do think Bloodborne. I think Bloodborne is the best Souls game ever made, and I think that's a majority opinion as well. I think it is a masterpiece. It's so convoluted. Yeah, I had to join you because the first boss, who is considered one of the easiest bosses, just absolutely crucified you.
I just couldn't get the parrying down. I just could not manage it, and then
But yeah,
I think I spent the entire time running around shooting it while you were killing it.
Yeah, it's bearing in mind Bloodborne though is a big difference from Souls, where you can't hide behind a shield. It's definitely tougher than the Souls games as a whole, and that was kind of the first one you ever jumped into. So yeah, you're gonna struggle.
The
setting is
really
absolutely
cool,
beautiful. It's very gothic and
I thought that was a good touch. I thought that was not for me that was good. Minus the game, the atmosphere of the game, and the setting and everything about it was quite cool, to be honest.
I think it has the best bosses as well in the series. There's only one boss that I would consider that is a badly designed boss, and that's Lawrence. As it is
Lawrence,
hardest boss in the game for me. I know people are going to be mad that I haven't said Orphan of Cos, but
that thing freaked me out for days.
Oh yeah, it's literally a fetus. It's horrible.
No, thank you.
But Lawrence for me is a badly designed boss, and that's the only negative I could draw from the game. Was Lawrence is literally a reskin of the first boss in the game, except with about 10 times more health and can one-shot you.
Nice.
And that's the only negative I can find from the game. I think the convoluted story that takes you about 3 playthroughs to figure out what's actually happening, all the background lore, the setting, the sound, the audio, the graphic, everything about it, I think is a masterpiece. And I think I haven't played the new Demon Souls yet. I've heard that's also like critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
But I think until I can get a proper judgment on Demon Souls, I think Bloodborne, for a long time, I think for me will be the best Souls game ever made.
All right.
4, going on to the 4th, and this one, again, I was debating, but I've gone with Star Wars Battlefront 2 and not the very slightly above average EA. Yeah, I'm talking the original PS2, Xbox, GameCube, PC one.
Yes.
And again, it's memories. I remember I must be hundreds of hours just playing instant action, setting up with 750 versus 750 on the smallest maps, and just running around as Darth Vader and just absolutely chopping everything. And it's just memories. I don't think, again, it's a fun game. I had it on Steam as well.
Yeah.
And I would play it. Yeah, you had to kind of like mod it a little bit for the multiplayer because it doesn't really work. Yeah. But you can get it to work where you can just go into games with just the two of you, just messing around with like 750 bots. And it's just, again, like Simpsons Hit and Run that was mentioned earlier, it's just mindless fun. You don't have to really focus. You just run around and shoot things just in the Star Wars setting, which obviously is a massive franchise. I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
So it just memories. And this leads on pretty nicely to number 3, which, similarly to you, Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yeah.
Again, for the same reasons you said, it's memories.
Gotta be there.
It's not a good game, as we mentioned earlier, but it is a barrel of fun.
It's an absolutely appalling game.
Oh, God, it's awful. But it is. I think it's probably up there for me as one of the games I would love to see remastered.
Oh God, yeah. There's that petition going around, isn't there?
Yeah, even the devs, the original devs, want it remastered as well. But with the rights, they're all sort of because I think Disney own the rights now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happening. I don't think we'll ever see it. But if we do, I will be jumping on it.
Yes.
But I won't stick around on that too much because we already mentioned it. Number 2. This might be a bit of an obscure one for some people, but Time Splitters Future Perfect. It was really popular. Yeah, it's a game I've mentioned quite a lot. And it's a game that was really popular. I can't even know when it came out. Early 2000s, mid 2000s.
It's a PS2, isn't it?
Yeah, PS2, GameCube, Xbox, PC.
Yeah, that's it. And
for me, it's the memories. This is a game I would spend... I have well over 1,000 hours on this game for sure. It's... The arcade mode, I think, is what it's known for. It probably has one of the best sort of multiplayer systems ever. The arcade mode. It's very rare to find nowadays because no one, the rights to Time Splitters is completely up in the air. So I
did see about that because I saw like an article about people wanted it remastered or something.
Yeah.
And then I did read it briefly, and it was like, okay, well, who owns it?
Yeah, that's the problem. The company that actually originally made the game, I'm sure, doesn't exist anymore, and the rights are just completely like in the floor. No one knows what's going on. There's problems with music as well. Nobody knows who owns any of the music.
That's another problem. And it tracks in games like sometimes.
Yeah,
that's why they had to cut a lot of. Sorry to interrupt, but the San Andreas music when they ported it over to the PC, they had to cut so much more of the music.
Yeah,
didn't own the rights to the songs anymore,
and that's the problem. And Time Splitters Future Perfect is one of those games that is really sought after for a remake. But I just don't think, again, like Simpsons Hit and Run, I don't think it'll ever happen.
No,
and it is a shame because it's one of them games where it's like a comedic first-person shooter. It doesn't take itself seriously. It rips off a lot of other big franchises. The characters, I think, is unmatched to this day for playable characters in a multiplayer first-person shooter. There's quite literally, I think, hundreds of characters you can play that all have different sort of attributes. loads of different game modes, and I think it definitely paved the way for me for like in Call of Duty. Infected is very popular, you know, the game mode that started at MW3, and this is the game I think that kicked that off because that had a mode. And I think again the memories of it, and it's a game that I have not been able to play in so long.
I feel like if you got hold of a copy, I would never hear from you ever again.
Yeah, it's one of them.
I feel like I'm head out.
But moving on to my favourite game of all time. As mentioned earlier, massive Souls fan, and that leads on to my favourite game of all time, which is Dark Souls.
Was that the one I played like 5 minutes of and then quit?
Yeah, you couldn't get past the tutorial and quit.
Hey!
Dark Souls for me is more than a game.
It's a way of life.
For me, it's a beautiful game with a massive history, lore, again like Bloodborne, very convoluted story, and it kind of pushes you to more in-depth thinking when you play the game. The challenge, it was obviously at the time, Demon Souls was the first sort of Souls game, but I never played the original Demon Souls. So I did not until I didn't play it until much later, and by that time it wasn't like Demon Souls the original. I don't think was that great of a game. It was very broken.
Right.
But Dark Souls again, very broken game, and I don't think it's the best Souls game. Bloodborne is for me, but Dark Souls again, memories. It brought me into this life of the Souls series and brought me into that community that I adore. And I think it brought me my niche as a gamer in the Souls series.
Big epic gamer likes epic Souls game.
You have to be some sadistic man to like.
You have to have severe problems.
Yeah.
You want to sit there and play that.
It brought me into that life. And I think for me, though, when I say it's more than a game, is Dark Souls as a game taught me a lot about failure as a person.
Oh God, that sounded really...
Yeah, it's cringy, but it's true.
No, I wasn't going to say that. It's just like, that reminded me of like, all I've ever done in my life is just failed. There is no point anymore. I have failed.
I've done goodbye. But like, it taught me a lot about sort of failure, where there's times in Dark Souls where you will die over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But the game, it's how you then persevere from that and make yourself better. And I think I was young when Dark Souls 1 came out, originally in 2011. That's long ago.
It's 10 years ago.
Yeah. So I think it taught me a lot then when I was young, and still failing at it. Everyone fails in life, and as a kid especially, it's hard to learn from that when you're young. And Dark Souls taught me how to deal with failure and make myself better, not just in the game. I'm talking Ornstein and Schmaug. Ornstein and Schmo. It's pronounced about 12 different ways. Sue me. So, Ornstein and Schmaug.
Sue me.
It killed me about... First time I ever played the game, the boss killed me about 700 times. And the amount of controllers I went through, I wanted to quit the game. But you don't. You persevere, and the feeling you get when you finally do beat that boss is unlike anything I've felt in a video game.
I thought you were going to say anything in life then.
Oh, God, no. I
was like, that must be a good feeling.
I would have headed out if that was what I was going to say. I have to take a hard, deep look at my life. But it taught me a lot about failure in real life because of this, and how to deal with failure and make myself a better person. And for that, I think it has to have a special place for me. But yeah, Souls, and again, Souls for me. Souls series for me, I'm sadistic. I have way too many unhealthy hours in a lot of these games. Like all of the Souls games, other than 2. 2 I think was a bit stinky. Neo. And even the Surge. Like, who remembers the Surge?
That That was that free game, wasn't it?
It was like, yeah, it came out. I can't remember. It wasn't even out for long before it was free because it wasn't the best game. It was very mediocre, and it was like a Souls game set in the future, and you had all exoskeletons that had gone rogue, and yeah, it wasn't great. But it still didn't stop me spending hundreds of hours on it because it's a Souls game. Yeah. I completed the game 2 or 3 times. I don't know why. It was not worth it. But that's just me with Souls games.
Time well spent, if you ask me.
Oh, absolutely. I got that platinum trophy on a Souls game. It just makes me look like a bigger e-gamer.
Oh, just nothing better than looking like a big e-gamer.
Like, that's the dream one day. Platinum every single Souls game so everyone knows I'm hard.
I thought you were going to say every single game then. I was like, that's a bit...
God.
Can you imagine how long that would take you?
I don't think it'd even be possible because there are some games that you can't platinum anymore. Like, there was one recently, I can't remember what it was, but there was one recently that got made. There was an update that shut down the multiplayer and it's physically incapable. You can't platinum it anymore.
It's like Dead Rising 2, and it's got multiplayer trophies. You can't do them.
Yeah, Resident Evil 5 as well. Yeah, Resident Evil 5 is unplatinumable now with the DLC. If you can platinum it, I think, but you just can't do the DLC. And one thing with me is it really bugs me if I have a lot of platinums, but then when there's one that's like 95% because there's DLC, it really annoys me. I don't like it.
DLC.
Yeah, like Borderlands 3, the game frustrated me to hell because it was so buggy. Like the locations trophy.
Oh God! Yeah,
I spent hours because it was bugged, and you had to do it all in one go. And there's something like 250 to 300 locations in the game that you got to manually go around in one go. It takes about 6-7 hours.
Get up, I'm a head out now.
and like it took me 3 attempts because it just wouldn't work. Kept just completely bugging out, or the game would crash. But I still sat there and did it, and then got all of the DLC. And I hate my life for it, but
you're a hero amongst men.
But anyway, moving on from games that we love, because we could end up going off on a tangent.
Well, like we did for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much. We're going to start moving on to games that we don't like, or not necessarily just individual games, but things we don't like in games. We don't necessarily don't have to mention like just games we despise. Sonic 06.
I'm putting game on last. I don't care, mate. I'm going for throats.
It's things we don't like, games we don't like, so you guys can obviously have a better picture of what we don't like. So I'll let you begin with things you don't like, because I've spoken for long enough.
I think realistically, right, the number one is going to be Sonic 06. That game was full on garbage. It didn't even work.
Yeah.
Like, why put out a game that is so bad that you could end the entire game, you could skip to the credits by jumping on the first NPC's head multiple times and then talking to them and the credits would roll. Why?
Yeah. I genuinely can't think of a redeeming factor of that game at all.
You can literally buy copies off eBay for like 99p, and then there's some sadists that decide to try and sell them for like £100 because it's apparently a relic of time. It doesn't work like that.
No, not at all.
Certain versions of the game, before they like fixed it, you physically couldn't finish because it had something hard coded in the disc that when you got to a certain point, it would soft lock. Like what? How? Who tested that? That's what I was.
Sounds like Cyberpunk.
Oh, don't even get me started. I was so excited for that game. Anyway.
Me too.
That's my rant about Sonic 06. That game, if anyone likes it, you should check yourself into a hosptal because there's something wrong with you. That game was awful.
Yeah. Moving on from that. Sonic 06 sucks.
Yeah. And then we'll go on about Sonic 06 for another 20 minutes. No, so the other one, I think you definitely know I didn't like this. And this is going to be very unpopular.
Oh, God.
I really didn't like Modern Warfare. The new COD. Okay. Well, not the new COD, that's fair enough. Previously, like, I don't like Warzone either. I think it's probably a combination of the fact that I suck but I really just did not like the game in the slightest. I couldn't tell you why, but playing it felt like a chore, and then I'd just get miserable every time I played it.
Yeah, see, this is where we differ, because I think that's the best COD ever made.
Yeah.
For
That's
me,
what I mean.
think,
and I guarantee a lot of people agree with you. Because
yeah, I think it's widely recognised. It's like the highest selling, I'm sure.
Yeah, you see
time.
like how many people are playing it still, and
it's bigger than Cold War.
Warzone has just overtaken everything. Like that was a good move by, was it Activision? Is it?
Yeah,
that was a good move by them.
I think it might be Raven that actually worked on Warzone. I can't remember. It's one of they separate it. I think it's Raven.
It's always like Raven and Sledgehammer in it. So
yeah,
but I, for one, Warzone, I just thought not only did it have problems with hackers when they did the
hacking was a big problem,
cross-platform. The update sizes for anyone that was on console, you can understand this. That some of the update sizes, I think the game ended on like 300 something gig, and if you didn't have an extended hard drive, that could be the only thing you could install, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, if you had the standard PS4, like the 500 gig or standard Xbox, like you got to the point where the game was about 400 gig. You could literally have that and one other game installed.
Yeah, like what exactly are you supposed to do at that point? Nothing. You can't. And for me, the gameplay itself, like it as a battle royale, is good. I give it props for props is due. But I felt like the way it played, and the fact that, I mean, it's not the game's fault, but the community behind Warzone, they're all just sweaty, like grease all over their forehead.
How'd you think I felt when I played it?
And the way they did lobbies as well, like, because your KDR was good and mine was like sort of floating at 1. So if you're playing with someone without high KD,
we couldn't play together.
Players, and you're like, what?
It was my account at the end when I quit the game was in the top 0.9% of accounts across all platforms. So you couldn't play together because it would just be a slaughter. And it just wouldn't be fun. Right.
And like, I'd sit there and get frustrated. You'd be doing all right, and I'm like 0 and 20, and I'm just like, I'm a dip. I was like, I'm fed up of this.
Even with my games at the end of it, it was literally like not like pro players, I highly doubt, but like it was players that were genuinely very, very good at the game.
Yeah,
and it was for because I played Ground War most of the time, and it was very fun for me. But there would be games where you'd go, like there was one game I remember in particular on a Ground War map called Promenade. It was very, very small for a Ground War map. It was just literally a very thin line. That was the whole map. And there'd be one game I went like 55-1, got a nuke, and then the next game I was literally like 0-30. We just got absolutely destroyed.
You just get that one guy that sits in a tank the entire game.
Oh, that was a problem on Promenade, because you had the two sides of the map. The only sides of the map were roads, and a tank spawned on either side, and that was a problem. And I'm sure it only spawned for like one spawn.
Yeah.
So it was just a nightmare. But no, I think that's where we disagree with stuff with that one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and I think a lot of people will agree with you. I think it's just
everyone likes different stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why I always got, for me, it comes down to personal preference, doesn't it? People like different stuff, and it sort of is what it is. But all right, like, let's hear. That's all I can think of off the top of my head, to be honest. But I'll let you.
So now, for me, I haven't got any actual games here listed, but there are two things for me that if I see this in video games, other than a very select few anomalies, I will know. No, I can't do it. And that is anime. I am so...
How dare you?
I've just angered everybody that potentially ever would have watched this.
Will rise up.
The weebs are now very angry with me.
Yeah, well
and
done.
I know this is an unpopular opinion nowadays, but anime, I can't do it. I hate it.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
I agree.
We both never liked anime.
You like what you like, right? I'm not. I'm not gonna slaughter anyone for liking anime.
I'm not gonna sit here and just blast everyone saying you're all just weebs. But like, no, it is. If you like anime, absolutely go ahead. But for me, Anime and turn-based combat. Oh god, if that's in a game together, I will cry. But
He'll
there
just
are
buy
anomalies
every
to
copy
this.
of the disc and start snapping them.
Yeah, literally. I will sue whoever company made that for mental torture. But like, there are a few games that do this well. Pokemon being an example. I like Pokemon. I think that does it well and suits
Yeah.
turn-based combat. And obviously, I guess Pokemon is an anime.
Pokemon's huge
So
now again, isn't it?
yeah, and I do like Pokemon. Persona 5. I haven't played any of the others, but Persona 5. You'd think I would not like the game. It's an anime turn-based JRPG, but I do think the game is brilliant.
This is where you're secretly telling us you like anime.
I actually just Naruto run everywhere. Like, it's all I do.
Yeah, I don't walk anywhere anymore.
I have the premium subscription to Crunchyroll.
I keep getting Crunchyroll adverts on Facebook.
Yeah, so do I. So I'm not going to sign up for your anime. Go away.
I've never clicked on anything anime before, and now all of a sudden I'm getting personalised ads for Crunchyroll.
And like, going on to turn-based combat, I really don't like Final Fantasy, and I know like you do, and a lot of people do. It's a very big franchise, but for me, I just can't. I can't do it. It's
fair enough.
Would you call Final Fantasy like anime?
I mean,
I think it's close.
It really depends on what you classify anime as. Like for me, anime's always been like
Dragon Ball,
Titan,
yeah,
Naruto and stuff like that. Like that for me is anime. Whereas when it comes to games, like I guess technically most games are anime because they're animated, right? I
think it depends. Like Pokemon is anime.
Yeah,
games.
I wouldn't look at it like anime if that makes sense. Like, I mean, probably by definition it is.
Yeah, like Persona, that's very anime.
Yeah, that's anime. Yeah,
like all these Naruto games and everything that are out, and Dragon Ball games,
because they're based on an anime, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Final Fantasy isn't based on an anime.
No.
So
I don't know. It might be. I don't know. There's probably like manga and stuff of it. I would imagine.
I think there's manga. Yeah, I mean, manga.
I have not a clue. I've never read a piece of manga in my life.
I know for a fact that manga you read backwards or something.
Yeah, you start at the back. I've never attempted.
No, it just doesn't
I don't know Japanese, but yeah, no. Anime and turn-based combat for me, I can't do it. Cannot do it.
I mean,
other than the select few, Paper Mario, I think is a select one as well that I could do, which is turn-based combat. Yeah,
okay,
that's doable, but that's not. I wouldn't class it Mario as anime. So
no, I wouldn't either. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, what is the definition of anime?
Yeah, that's
when
the
it comes
thing.
To games? Like,
I think it's. I think it's just in general. I don't like anime, so.
Yeah.
If I see a game like Dragon Ball game or a Naruto game, I won't go anywhere near it.
Yeah.
I think that's more sort of the gist of it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, not that I'm going to say I'm going to start watching it, but the thing is, I can't say I don't like it if I've never watched it.
I've tried. That's the thing. I remember Connor sent me a link to some, and I think one of them was Bleach or something. Yeah. And I did start watching it, and I just thought, this is just dross. I can't do it. And I get why people like it. I do get why people like it, but for me, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's just long. Like, I'm not about that. I mean, I don't really watch TV, to be honest with you.
No, neither do I, really.
You know,
but they're the main things. I don't really know. Other things I hate in video games, that's about it. I'm quite open, and I'm not saying I'm quite a harsh critic, so I'm quite open to play things. But I'm not saying your game's going to be good. Because in my eyes, it's probably not going to be good. But I'm open to anything. Unless something is, like I said, an anime turn-based. Like Ni no Kuni. Oh. It's a very long anime RPG. I think I'm pretty sure it's turn-based as well. And it's things like that. Like one of my old store managers at my old job used to play it and talk about it, and I just had no clue. It's like Xenoblade and things like that. I just can't. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I just can't.
Okay, well, what about fighting games then? What are we saying? Like, and I use the example of like Street Fighter, Soul
Street
Calibur.
Fighter is anime for sure. I'm sure it is. I'm sure that there was like manga and stuff on that.
Yeah.
I hate Street Fighter. I can't stand it.
Fair
I
enough.
like.
Did you ever play the originals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There used to
Fair
be still
Sega Mega
the
Drive.
place is still there, but there used to be a Chinese takeaway that had an arcade game machine in it, and there used to be a Street Fighter one, but I don't think the arcade machine is still there.
I would assume not. No.
The Chinese is still there, but the arcade machine's not. I don't think. But it used to have another. I don't know. Street Fighter, no. Tekken again, no.
Yeah, no. Tekken's a no from me. I'm not. Not about it. I just don't like even Mortal Kombat. I don't really like. To be honest.
Mortal Kombat's on the fence for me. I'll play it if it's there. The only ones I can say I actually like are Injustice, which are like the DC, Batman, and I'm a big superhero guy, as you'll probably come to learn. I really like Marvel, DC. So the Injustice games for me are very good. I like them. They're the only ones I can sit and actually play. I'm not really a fan. Nah, me neither. Not the biggest type. Racing games for me as well are similar. I like some of them.
I like me racing games. I'm a big Need for. I like Need for Speed. I like the franchise. I played the new one. I've platinumed that. That was fun. I enjoyed that game quite a lot, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I just like racing games. I can't really explain why. I think as well as like car customization and stuff, I like. The only thing I don't like is that sort of the online on those games are just terrible. Like just
oh god, yeah, like
inherently bad. Like they could do so much with it. And just
EA for Need for Speed, so I don't care.
They're not making enough money out of it, do they?
Nah, so there's no point in them keeping it on. Which is that leads me on actually. You've just opened a can of worms here with saying that.
I am the Segway king.
So you just said no point keeping the multiplayer up. Games as a service. Oh my! I'll get mad. Games as a service, I think, is the worst thing that's ever happened to video games. And now I won't be the best person to sort of explain this, but I'll do my best. So basically, games for service, if you don't know, is basically where you have big examples. Need for Speed games, they're all games for service nowadays, where a lot of them are multiplayer only. So there is single player to Need for Speed games, but you have to constantly be connected online. That's games as a service. Yeah, you have to be connected to a central server to be able to play.
I don't know why. It makes no difference to the gameplay whatsoever. So what's the point?
It is purely so they can shut down the game if it stops making money. And I think you're literally, and this is becoming more and more common every single generation with games, because it's largely started off with EA.
EA.
No shock. But it is becoming more prevalent, and it basically just means games die.
Yeah.
Purely just because it's not making enough money. Like, even if there is a single player aspect, like in Need for Speed games, there is a lot of the time.
Yeah. And
you have to be constantly connected to EA's central server. And with a lot of the time, the game gets 2 years in and they think, well, enough's enough with this one, yeah. And there's your problem. And I think it is probably the worst thing that has happened to video games, is this practice that is becoming more and more common. The only one, EA do it with a lot of their games. FIFA's one that is probably an exception, because FIFA is a constant stream of revenue.
Oh, God, yeah.
But a lot of others, and it's not just EA, but EA is a big example of it.
I feel like EA is the poster child for what not to do. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
For me, don't get me wrong, they're rich as anything, right?
They're they're
biggest
successful
companies ever, right? But I always use this example: is they do everything in their power to squeeze as much money as possible, and they don't care. But the problem is, the reason why they're allowed to do it, and myself included, people still buy the games, and people still do it, right?
Yeah.
FIFA 21. I actually really enjoyed FIFA this year. I think it's been good. A lot of the stuff for me that the meta fits my playstyle a lot better than what it did last year. So, for example, last year was a lot of skillers and stuff like that. Now it's a lot of weak foot players, right? So It's a lot less on skill and a lot more on like positioning and the way you move the ball about. But with like FIFA points and stuff, like the amount of money that they must make on that is absolutely incredible because
gigantic.
they released promos. I think there was the promo last night of Lightning Rounds because I think Team of the Season's coming out soon.
Yeah.
And oh my god, like they're releasing 25, like one pack was like 2,500 FIFA points, which is like 20 quid or something.
Yeah, something like that. Like 18
Incredible.
quid. It's ridiculous.
Incredible. Like that business model, fair play. Fair enough. You know, I don't really like microtransactions.
No.
I think it's too like. Don't get me wrong, though. Obviously, companies need to make their money. We don't know the ins and outs of what's what and that, but make it so it's not the prime focus of the game.
Thing for me with microtransactions is I don't mind in a free game because obviously the game's free.
Yeah.
But this stemmed from League of Legends for me. The amount of money I spent on League of Legends was in the thousands.
It was like $2,500 when we looked at it or something.
Yeah, and I just ever since then I've spent about 20 quid on FIFA, and I literally have not spent anything on microtransactions since.
Yeah,
because I can't do it. If it's a free game, fair enough. I might drop some, but when I've already paid, and nowadays PS5 games nowadays are like 80 quid, just by default.
I was lucky enough that I got a PS5, and I've got Valhalla, Watch Dogs, and Cold War, and that was like almost 200 quid.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's bad practice, but there's actually a YouTuber that he is very similar mindset to me in the fact that he doesn't pay over like 20 quid for a game.
Yeah.
And he won't, microtransactions just don't happen, and games for a service. And he's called like Ross Scott. If anybody wants to check him out, go for it. He does really good videos that are much better than I could ever explain about like games for a service and why it is bad and things like that. Definitely worth checking out if you want to know more about that, because he can explain it a lot better than me. But I think microtransactions for me, games as a service, are just really awful practices, and pre-ordering as well, which isn't the game industry's fault, that's gamers' fault. But pre-ordering, I think, is a horrible practice. I hate it.
It means that they don't have to really fulfill everything they've said because people have already paid for it.
Yeah, if the game has sold enough copies, Cyberpunk, massive example, got it's one of the highest pre-orders in history. I think it's I don't know if it is yet, but I think it's definitely close to being the fastest selling game in PC history.
Yeah.
And the game clearly is not finished. I mean, look at it. Look at the release that's had.
I mean, we can get more into that in another episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it is. I don't know. They pushed it back so many months, and it's still like that. Is beyond me.
And it happens more and more commonly. I haven't pre-ordered a game since Black Ops 2, and that game made me quit Call of Duty for years. So
I love that game.
I did, and then I got to the end and I hated it. It made me quit the entire franchise. It was
I'd still play again personally.
I probably would if it came out now. Like if they released it again now, I probably would.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be probably better than Cold War. But
I don't know. I like Cold War. Admittedly, I'm enjoying it. I'm not very good at it, but I'm enjoying it.
I haven't got it yet. I might get it though. I might actually get it when I can finally manage to get a PS5. It's not going to happen.
But we've almost been going an hour, so we can start sort of, I guess, wrapping up.
Yeah, why not?
That went fast.
It did. It did go quick. Yeah.
I mean, like I say, this episode was just sort of the get to know us a little bit. Cause the last thing you want to do is sit around and listen to two people chatting, quite frankly, rubbish. And you have no idea who they are. So this is sort of, get to know us, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you're happy to wrap up, we can.
Yeah, I think like you said, this episode was purely so you guys can know what we like, what we dislike, And where we go from here,
I mean, the one thing we forgot to mention is we extremely dislike each other. So
that's top of the list. Absolutely despise each other.
That's one of those things we can't even sit in the same room as each other without like.
It's just a scrap. Yeah, it's just turns into a scrap.
It's a
every
nightmare.
time.
That's why we don't go to family dinners anymore. Well, that and COVID, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Right. So yeah. So I guess that is the end of the first episode. What we're doing is we're uploading onto all the different platforms and stuff. So if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you look in the description. We will have you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Apple,
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud is the other one. We're looking at starting up TikTok. Don't know about that. Don't get too excited. But yeah, make sure you click links down below. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you enjoyed. Leave some comments in the funny enough, in the comment section. If you're watching us on YouTube, let us know if you've got any criticisms or anything you think we could do better. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Sonic 06 sucks. Thanks for watching.
Well, there you go. If you got anything to take from that, Sonic 06 sucks. We'll see you next week with a brand new episode. Take care and look after yourselves.
Stay safe.
Yeah, and that. Goodbye.
Bye.